Hi everybody, I'm Ruechel, and welcome to this portion of the PCS Journal, where we sit down and chat with folks within the Pinellas County school system and without, and what they do for us. And my guest today is Dr. Stacy Baier, CEO of the Pinellas Education Foundation. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You don't look 30 years old, i.e. that's how old this Enterprise Village is. It's hard for me to believe because I was around when Gus Stavros and his wife originally put this together. So you're celebrating your 30th anniversary, is that right?
It is hard to believe that 3 decades have gone by.
As an idea, so I don't think a lot of people understand, this began with Enterprise Village and then the Education Foundation. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so back in the day when they had this dream of establishing Enterprise Village, Dr. Stavros and Howard Hinesley, superintendent at the time, got together and started conspiring on how to get that done. But what they quickly figured out is they needed a 501c3 to receive the contributions from the companies to get Enterprise Village going. So they started the Pinellas Education Foundation with the idea that we would be the hub for where those contributions could go for getting Enterprise Village started.
I know everybody goes and puts together a mission statement. So if there is a mission statement, what is it?
The mission statement of the Pinellas Education Foundation, we're really focused on accelerating educational achievement for all students in Pinellas County schools, and we do that by leveraging resources, relationships, and most importantly, innovation. And I think that's why you see something like Enterprise Village coming out of the Pinellas Education Foundation, because we have the opportunity to innovate where sometimes the school district has more confines on what they can do with their dollars. We can be a little bit more flexible and nimble.
You know, I didn't think about that part about innovation until I talked to Dr. Ruechel recently about how important that innovation side of thing is. But now we're also talking about what I call financial literacy. Everybody knows about this. Balancing a checkbook and all those kind of things and understanding. I always think it's funny when I visit schools, and I do that a lot, they'll say, well, how much money are you making? Well, you know, I say, well, $1 billion. And of course they have no idea what I tell them. I say, oh, $12.50 an hour. They don't understand that. Yes. But Enterprise Village makes it possible at least for them to get an idea that you have to earn money and then you have to budget where that money goes.
Yeah, so what's great about Enterprise Village, it was the first of 3 things that came out of what we now call the Stavros Institute. So Enterprise Village focuses on free enterprise and how students can seamlessly work between businesses and how businesses are interdependent on each other, and they take responsibility for, you know, paying invoices and interacting with the newspaper, with the bank that's there. But then it goes on in the 8th grade where students then visit Finance Park, where they learn specifically about personal finance skills. They go into Finance Park and they're given a persona for the day. So maybe they're a single mom with 2 kids and a job and a broken down car. So now how do you figure out, you know, how do you navigate your life? What choices do you need to make about extracurricular things that you might do with your family, like going to the movies or going out to eat as you're faced with these challenges? Then what's cool at Finance Park is that sometimes they give kids like little doozies, like in the middle of their experience, they might learn, oh, your babysitter's canceled, so now you have to kind of figure out, you know, that and who and where you're going to go. So it's we started with Enterprise Village, we then went to Finance Park, and then most recently we added a career planning program called Future Plans. So, and Future Plans helps 10th grade students kind of understand the balance between their interests, their aptitudes, their work values, and their personality, and what types of careers based on their results from that assessment are best suited for what's in demand in this community and best suited for them as an individual.
Now, there are approximately 100,000, give or take 5,000 students here. Do all students at one time in their careers here in the school system get a chance to go to all 3 of those, or?
They do. So Enterprise Village starts in the 5th grade. We have Finance Park in the 8th grade, and then Future Plans is actually not a site-based program. They do it in their schools, and it's offered to all 10th grade students.
One thing this community has always been really good at, and this goes back to, I came here in '86, was Dr. Hinesley, Dr. Rose before that, was really getting the business community plugged in where sometimes businesses will donate money and it's kind of like, well, they're just donating it, you know, and it doesn't go anywhere, but it's just kind of a gift. Businesses in this community, I mean, they really, really get involved. I'm thinking of Duke Energy and all these others that say, we're not just going to give money, we're personally going to get involved.
Yeah. We've been very blessed. I mean, I think the strength of the Education Foundation has been since the beginning. We've had individuals like Dr. Stavros and other business leaders in the community who have really prioritized the work of the Education Foundation. I also think, to your point about it hasn't just been about giving money, it's about giving time and also lending their thought process to new ideas. I mean, Enterprise Village is an initiative that not only started here in Pinellas County, but through a partnership with Junior Achievement has gone worldwide. So has Finance Park. So something that started here is now across the world.
Okay.
Then we have a program called Take Stock in Children, the same thing
Yes.
where the idea got germinated here, but then once they saw that it had legs, now Take Stock in Children is benefiting students in every school district across the state of Florida.
Yeah, I was here when they launched that too. So
Yeah.
these are things that I've seen throughout the years. So everybody wants to measure results because it's great to have all these programs, but then you have to stay on the backside. So how do I know what I am doing is working?
One of the things that the Education Foundation is looking to do is really align itself closely with the school district and the metrics that the district is looking at on a regular basis to sort of evaluate how it's doing. So we're trying to take our programs like Take Stock in Children, which is impacting graduation rates for low-income students. Graduation is like the top of the report card for a school district in terms of how it's doing. We want to make sure that our programs are aligning to those same metrics like graduation rate. Looking at when we start programs around literacy, we're also monitoring, the Florida state assessment, the English language arts scores, and make sure that our students are continuing to do well on those.
When you talked about, it's interesting the Junior Achievement model tying together. Again, I've been around it long enough that I knew when Junior Achievement was not attached to that. Now I know how it went nationwide. I was wondering, so you kind of answered that question for me. People will be saying, though, what does this have to do with somebody's career? Or is this just what we call life skills? Or can you, through these programs, say, this is what I really want to do with my life. I really want to go into business and finance, or I really want to go into some of these other areas.
At different stages in education, there's a different role for that kind of career exposure. So when we're starting in Enterprise Village in elementary school, it's really just about getting kids exposed to the different career pathways, by their experience at Enterprise Village. I'll run into adults in the community who will remember 20 years later what job they had at Enterprise Village.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's great. And then in middle school, they start to get a little bit more specific about what they're thinking about. And then in high school, the district offers a variety of career technical certifications so that kids can really dig in deep on what they think their career pathway may be, or maybe they just experiment and figure out that's not what they want to do. And along the way, the Education Foundation is putting in supports to make sure that the students of our school district have the best opportunity to be prepared for life after high school.
You mentioned about the freedom to be innovative, and I'm looking at institutional structures which tend to by themselves, they can't steer very fast. It's a 1,400-foot long tanker, and by the time you turn it, you hit something or else you missed your mark. So in terms of the way this is facilitated within the school districts, how do you make sure that the school district doesn't then just say, well, we've always got Enterprise Village, so we don't have to teach or worry about these other skills? Because I worry about districts that don't have this kind of financial education, that finance education that you're talking about here.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing we have going for us is that we have a district that is committed to innovating, as well as an Education Foundation that is standing right there by their side trying to push on those innovations. And sometimes the ideas come from the district and we kind of mull over them together, and sometimes they're ideas that the Education Foundation brings forward. So I think the relationship between us and the district has been really important in pushing forward those innovative ideas. You have to have an openness to receive and have that kind of dialogue.
So you're the CEO. You don't have to give me names, but tell me some of the businesses that are involved, because it's a board, I know that. Who are the people that are involved in this?
Well, it's interesting. When we first got started, I would say probably 90% of our giving was coming from businesses. And over time, and I think this follows the sort of philanthropic model, our giving has spread out. We have foundations who are now giving money to us. We have companies who are giving money to us. And we have a growing number of individuals in the community who are contributing regularly to the Education Foundation.
So in a way, you're also taking off kind of the financial burden that the school district would have to do if they had to implement some of these programs on their own.
So we don't supplant what the school district does. We really are looking to bring opportunities that, but for the ability to bring in private funding, a district might not be able to take some of the risk. And the idea behind everything that we're investing is let's get to a place of proof of concept and then work with the district to try and inculcate or to integrate the work of the Education Foundation into how the education system works on a regular basis.
And the money side of it, I mean, it's so important because innovation isn't cheap, and never has been, probably never will be. So let's talk about the future now. 30th, so where are we going 31, 32, 33 down the line?
So we just recently launched an initiative in partnership with the district called Elevating Excellence, and it's focused on we can identify high-performing students in ninth grade who may need additional supportive services around understanding their pathway to post-secondary education. So through our Elevating Excellence initiative, which has 6 key pillars, the Education Foundation is focused on helping the school district launch a series of college and career planning centers at every high school across the district. So the idea is that there'll be, I'm going to call it one-stop shopping. So when students and parents are looking for guidance on how do I fill out a college application, where do I go for financial aid, how do I help my student choose between these 3 options that they have, but I don't understand what this financial aid package and that financial, we'll have trained highly skilled volunteers placed in these college and career planning centers that will help students along that pathway.
See, that's really important because our family, we have four kids and all doing very well, educated at Pinellas County Public Schools, just a wonderful job. But I remember the first time that I had to fill out a FAFSA, and if you're watching me right now, and parents, you've had to fill out one of those things, and you got all your paperwork done, and then you got back to the note that said, well, you can afford that amount of money. I'm going, Lord, that's half of my salary. So the sticker shock that you have the first time with a child, or they may get a scholarship from Wake Forest or Furman or something, to go, wow, it's a $25,000 a year scholarship. It's $38,000 a year to go to school. I don't think that parents the first time around even have an inkling of what they're getting into.
Yeah. Well, and it's so intricate. I mean, it's different from even when I went to school, and we have, parents who don't understand that, let's say, sometimes based on your family income, it could be less expensive for you to go to Harvard than it is for you to go to the University of Florida. And that's what those college and career planning centers are set up to do, is to really help students unpack and families unpack what the information is that they're receiving and help them make the best decisions.
Yeah, well, that's great that they're knowing to do that. Again, celebrating 30 years, that's a wonderful, I did the voiceover for 1 or 2 of your presentations, and I always thought it was fun that we went out there to do stories on them. The kids are just so wide-eyed and looking, oh boy, you got to fill in my little sheet and go from there. Thank you so much for what you do, and congratulate the rest of the members of the foundation on a 30-year anniversary and many, many more years to come.
Thank you very much.
Back with more right after this.